Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that the video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine, as you can see. Kisumu is fantastic. And maybe you could also let me know where you're watching the video from. The county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, Raila Odinga today faced off with his opponent during a televised debate under the banner of Mjadala Africa.
Hamjambo, bonsoir, salam alaikum, rahmatullah ta'ala wa barakatuh. Noite, I am delighted to have opportunity today to stand before you as the son of Africa. I was born in Kenya, but I'm told that my grandparents, a grandfather of 5, and a husband of 1 that I know of. I am an engineer by profession, and I have been an academic. I have also been a public servant. I've been a member of parliament. I've also been a prime minister and also leader of opposition. In those capacities, I've tried to do my best, and I've gained a lot of experience in terms of management of public affairs. I stand here as an Pan-Africanist and an Afro-optimist. Africa is now completely liberated, but there's still work to do. And I believe that I have what it takes to get us where we want to do. In the field of education, in the field of health, in the field of value addition to the abundant wealth that we have on the continent, in the field of trade, inter-African trade. I have acted as the African Union High Representative on infrastructure. And in this I know that we have very comprehensive programs in PIDA, Program for Infrastructure Development of the continent. What remains is action. And what I want to promise the African people is that I am going to lead from the front to ensure that we achieve the visions of the founding fathers of our continent. I thank you.
Merci infiniment au candidat du Kenya.
I followed that debate very closely. And I also followed the comments, especially by Kenyans online or Kenyans on Twitter. And I can easily conclude, in my own opinion, that Raila Odinga dispensed a lot of wisdom during the debate.
And as I've said, I am ready to work for Africa. There are reforms that will be necessary so that AU can work more effectively. One of these reforms will be financial reforms, so that we are able to bring in the African private sector into the funding. I mentioned also the issue of sovereign funds that we can use. We can create a fund that will enable AU to do all its work. Then there's issue of 0.2% of the duty, which only 17 countries are remitting. I will work to ensure that all the countries actually pay their dues to the Union. This is what happens in the European Union, and that's why European Union is able to even fund African Union. It's a shame. We can be able to fund this organization out of our own resources on the continent. And this is what I'm going to try to do. And I said that I am ready on day 1 when I'm appointed. I will not need any kind of induction. I'm ready to work for the continent, and I will offer my best. The days of Africa have come. The African lion will begin to roar and tell its Asian tiger counterpart and the European bear and the American jaguar that this is going to be Africa's millennium.
And indeed, Raila Odinga is suited for that job.
The other one is the issue of Africa's representation on the Security Council. This is something that has been long overdue. As you know, that the UN was formed at a time when most parts of Africa were colonies. And that's why the UN structure as today does not deal with the realities of the world today. And in the situation where you have 5 countries sitting in the Security Council with veto powers, and Africa is not represented, a continent with 1.4 billion people, is not tenable and it's not accessible. And that's why I'm not going to talk about Africa's representation, but we're going to insist that Africa must get 2 permanent seats in the UN Security Council. This is only fair, because we are a continent of 55 sovereign nations. We cannot be excluded when Europe has got 3 permanent representations on the Security Council. Permanent representation with the veto powers is a must for Africa. And this I'm going to insist when I'm elected, if the heads of state of Africa sees fit that I should lead this. I will work together with all the leadership of the continent to ensure that the continent gets a fair treatment on the international scene.
But I also followed the reaction of Kenyans online. There are Kenyans who are praying day and night for Raila Odinga to lose in his bid of becoming the next chair of the African Union Commission. Most of these people were individuals who voted for William Ruto in the last election, but are now very unhappy with William Ruto, and they are now therefore extending their bitterness to Raila Amolo Odinga. And of course, there are also the unhappy Gen Zs who felt Raila Odinga denied them the opportunity of removing William Ruto from office. And for me, after going through the comments online, I strongly believe that Raila Odinga must win the AUC chairmanship, because if he will fail to win that seat, the consequences I can't describe here. In this video, I want to explain to you guys why Raila Odinga must actually win that AU seat without fail. But before you do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to dive in. But again, before I dive in, allow me to also take this opportunity to introduce you guys to LemFi. LemFi is a mobile money app for users in the US, Canada, and the United States of America to send money back to Kenya. They offer the best exchange rates, and the money will be delivered instantly into your M-Pesa account, Airtel Money account, and of course, if you want, directly into your bank account. You can use the link in the pinned comment to download the app. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to be very brief in this analysis, because I strongly believe that Raila Odinga must win. Because if he will fail to win, the consequences. Let me just begin by going through a post here by a man I really used to admire when I was in school, called Kabando wa Kabando. Where is that? Kabando wa Kabando. This is what Kabando wa Kabando posted some 3 hours ago. I voted Raila Odinga to be president of Kenya twice. Vigorously, 2022. Discreetly, 2017. My very first vote for president I cast for Jaramogi Oginga, that is 1992. But today, 2024, I pray Raila loses the AU because it's a fraudulent deal with crooked Ruto. I am African patriot. That is Kabando wa Kabando. The truth is, there are those people who are bitter with Raila Odinga, and they are justified. But I strongly believe that there are also those other Kenyans who are bitter with Raila Odinga, but they are not justified. For example, Raila Odinga cannot come to you to vote for him 4 times. You fail to vote for him. Even tomorrow, if his name were on the ballot against Ruto, you still vote for Ruto. Yet, you expect Raila Odinga to fight for you. Things are never like that. Politics is about interest, but I don't want to get into that. And based on that statement by Kabando alone, it means Raila Odinga must win that seat. Because if he won't win, I don't know where he's going to put his head in. Because if he won't win, the consequences, he will not manage. I'm saying that because, number one, if Raila Odinga were to lose the seat today, I doubt if William Ruto is going to win his re-election. Why am I saying so? William Ruto's re-election in 2027 is actually pegged on Raila Amolo Odinga delivering Raila support base. Now let us assume that we are in February and elections have been concluded and Raila Odinga has emerged the winner. Let me demonstrate to you how a win for Raila Odinga is going to help William Ruto. If Raila Odinga were to win that seat today, he will bring the trophy back home. Kenyans, especially the ODM brigades, which is William Ruto's main target, will line up at the airport, JKIA, to receive Raila Odinga in their numbers. You remember what Matiba did? Even Uhuru Kenyatta did it during his Hague time. Raila Odinga will now come back into the country with that trophy. I know how politics is played. His supporters will receive him at the airport. And William Ruto probably will organize a huge event in Nairobi. After that, that trophy will move the next town, Kisumu, Mombasa, Nakuru, Wajir, Kilifi, Raila Odinga strongholds. And that's how the momentum to thank William Ruto will kick in. What if Raila Odinga will lose? If Raila Odinga were to lose that seat, 2 things are going to happen. Number one, Raila Odinga supporters are going to be very angry that William Ruto played Raila Amolo Odinga. So that's number one. And the fact that they are going to be very angry, it means they are going to be very bitter with William Ruto. And therefore they cannot vote for William Ruto. Number two, Raila Odinga's opponents, especially those who are opposing his bid currently, are going to celebrate in a very big way. And they're going to gain the momentum. And they'll have that bragging right that, you know, we told you Ruto alikuwa anacheza Raila. Importantly, if Raila Odinga were to lose that seat, there is the high chance that he will be convinced to run for the presidency. And therefore, William Ruto's bid is going to be in jeopardy. So if you are to ask me, the biggest casualty of Raila Odinga losing AU seat is going to be William Ruto. His re-election is fully dependent on it. Number two is the ODM party political survival. If Raila Odinga were to lose the AUC chairmanship today, I don't know what he's going to use to make a political comeback. They always say Raila Odinga is called Amolo because Amolo is a Gwambo and a Gwambo is the mysterious one. But I don't know the strategy he's going to use to make a comeback within the ODM political circles. If you are to lose today, the ODM party is going to be split. That those who are going to tell him, Baba, you've tried everything, you've lost, kakando. There are those who are going to tell him, Baba, stay put, become a presidential candidate. And the fact that William Ruto is already in working with some ODM leaders, that's how ODM is going to split, if you are to ask me. So a win for Raila Odinga is going to ensure the survival of ODM political party. Because as the chair of the African Union Commission there, all these other ODM leaders would still look up to Baba for political guidance. Back in Kenya, they'll still view Raila Odinga as their leader, who is now up there. And with that, Raila Odinga will even have a bigger say in ODM strongholds. And because of that, because of ODM survival, Raila Odinga must ensure that he wins. If he were to fail, problem. Number 3 is Raila Odinga's own political future. I think I've explained it a bit, but in case Raila Odinga wants to secure his political future, he must win that AUC seat. If that seat will slip, Raila Odinga's influence is going to come down. That's a fact. But if you were to win, Raila Odinga can say, okay, I'm going to serve for 2 years. He'll have the platform. After 2 years, maybe we'll announce that I'm resigning to come back to save Kenya. Again, as the chair of the African Union Commission, he'll still remain relevant, politically speaking. I doubt if Raila Odinga will remain politically relevant if we were to lose this seat. And the fact that he's now supporting Ruto, who is very unpopular. Number 3, Raila Odinga must also shame the naysayers. People like Kabando, people like Miguna who have never won anything. He must shame them. Because if you want to do that, these guys are going to make minced meat out of Raila Odinga. And lastly, is exit strategy from Kenyan politics. A win for Raila Odinga would be a safe exit strategy from Kenyan politics. He will say, okay, I'm now going to focus on AU. He's going to stay in AU, maybe 4 years or 5 years. By that time, Raila Odinga will be 84, 85 there. I doubt at that age, Raila Odinga would still want to become the president. But he shall have exited Kenyan politics graciously into AU. If he were to fail, it would mean that he failed in his presidential bid. Again, he failed in his bid of becoming the chair of the African Union Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, Raila Odinga must win the African Union Commission chairmanship. If you want to win, I'm 100% sure that those who are opposed to his bid will celebrate. And those who are supporting his bid are going to lose hope. Until next time, this is Makwiny. Bye-bye.